Hey friends, welcome back to Garden Adventures. I'm Mary and today we are talking about ranunculus. Actually, we are talking about ranunculus corms. They are these tiny little corms that look like they're completely dried out little like octopi. What we need to do with these corms is soak them. So let's start with what type of ranunculus I have. I have 20 corms of the ranunculus mix. It's just called ranunculus mix. And then I have 20 corms of the happy mix. So what I'm going to do is soak 10 of each of the varieties. Again, they're mixes, so I don't know what colors I'm doing. I'm just going to put 10 of each corms in these little containers. So I have a little water in here. Now, the instructions do tell you that you need to soak ranunculus corms for 3 to 4 hours prior to planting them. So there are a couple of methods you can go through. You can soak them and take them outside and plant them in the ground if it's time in your area. So you want to soak them for 3 to 4 hours and then you can drain off the water, take them right out and plant them. You can pre-sprout them, which is what I am going to do. So I'm going to soak them for 3 to 4 hours and then I will put them in a container with some soil and we're going to attempt to pre-sprout the ranunculus so that in 3 to 4 weeks I am able to take them out and put them in the ground, and this should give them a little bit of a jump start. A lot of garden centers will sell ranunculus as a potted plant, so you can purchase it and put it in a spring container. So you can do that yourself with the corms. You can soak them, pre-sprout them, and pot them up. I am not doing that method, but that would be a fun experiment for you if that's something you're interested in doing, because I think ranunculus are beautiful. So what I'm going to do in today's video is soak my ranunculus and start the pre-sprout process by putting them in soil, and then we'll come back in 3 or 4 weeks, check on their progress, and I'll give you an update. But come on along and we'll start the soaking process. So I have 2 dishes of water here. This one is already labeled. It says happy, and this is the other one for the other mix. So this box of corms is the just plain old ranunculus mix, so they're going to go in here. I'm going to put 10 of them in this water. Now you do want to use room temperature or as close to it as you can. There are a few more than 20 corms in here, so I'm just going to add a couple of the smaller ones and we'll save the rest for the next time we pre-sprout. So the happy mix came in a little bag. I'm going to open this up. Okay, so I did mention that you need to soak these for 3 to 4 hours. The label does caution not to over soak them, so you definitely want to make sure you set a timer, 3 to 4 hours. The other thing that is recommended is to add some motion to the water. You don't want any kind of toxins to build up in the water, so the aeration of the water helps with that. So there are 3 methods that you can use. You can come by and mix it up every hour or half hour or so. You can leave a trickle of water running in the containers, which is going to be my method. Or you can completely dump the water every hour and refill with new water just to make sure that those toxins don't sit in the water for the full 3 to 4 hours. So I'm going to take these over, put them in the bathroom sink, and leave a trickle of water running. So the containers are placed in the sink. I'm just going to turn on a stream of water and make sure it's kind of hitting both containers. Now this works because I only have 2 bowls. You could always do it at different times. Or as I said, if you have a lot of corms, you could do one of the other methods, again, dumping out the entire container every hour or coming by and just moving the water around every half hour or so. That is the plan for now. I'll bring you back in an hour and we'll do this again. This is my first year growing ranunculus, and one of the reasons is the beautiful rose-like petals that are delicate looking, and Ranunculus comes in a variety of color, from soft pastels to really rich, deep colors. Now the ones I selected are a little more on the bold and vibrant side, which could be a risk for spring flowers, but I just love the colors, especially the Happy Mix. I just, you know, by the time spring comes, I'm just so looking forward to color that I thought this would be a fun addition to the spring flowers. Now, corms are very similar to bulbs in that they store nutrients in the corm, and they can form up little, they call them cormels, cormels that are similar to little bulblets that bulbs often divide by bulblets. So corms do the same thing. So even though you plant one corm in the ground, you may end up with little cormels when you dig them up at the end of the season. So ranunculus are hardy in zones 8 through 10, but they are cool season flowers, so they don't want hot temperatures. It's always a struggle for spring flowering bulbs and corms that they want full sun, but they also don't like the heat of the summer. These I am going to put in a position that they get full sun, and they probably won't last more than 4 to 6 weeks. But once they start flowering, I will cut them, and they should flush back. It doesn't get overly hot here in the spring, usually. Last year, we did have a week of 90-degree weather in May, which could be an issue for ranunculus. But they are a very long-lasting cut flower, and they can last more than 10 days in the vase if you cut them at the right stage. So what is the right stage? For ranunculus, you want to cut them in what they kind of call the marshmallow stage, where if you squeeze it, it's still a little soft, but a lot of the petals have already unfurled and opened. I'll be testing that this year, and I will definitely share that with you because, again, I've never grown ranunculus before, so knowing the right stage to cut will be important for me to learn this year. Okay, we have a couple minutes left before we hit the alarm at the 1 hour mark, so I just popped in to see how they were doing. And I think they're doing really well. The water is hitting both containers, and they're starting to look good. And so I think I'm just going to leave them here, continue with this method. I don't think there's any need to change. And I'll be back in an hour to do one more check on them. Ranunculus corms don't want to be super wet, so I'm going to put them into moist soil, but not wet soil. Usually when I am putting out my winter sowing, I make that soil pretty wet. Not for corms. I am going to make it moist, but not super wet. And for sure in the fall, I will show you, kind of digging up the corms, rinsing them off and storing them. They're not overly difficult to store. You just want to keep them in a cool, dark place for the winter until you're ready to begin the pre-sprout process again. Alrighty, our second hour is complete. They are looking good. They're starting to plump up, looking better than when they went in. The Happy Mix in particular looks good. Both containers are getting water, so let's put it over just a smidge. So we'll leave it going for another hour. All right, we're getting close to the end of the third hour. We have about 2 minutes left on the clock, and they're still looking good. I think they could stay in just a little longer. They are plumping up, but I feel like all is well. I'll give them about another hour, set my timer, and then next time we definitely need to take them out. Well, it's been about 3 hours and 55 minutes, so I think we're good. We can take them out of here and we'll go pre-sprout them. All right, we're going to settle these in with the little root side down, so the little tentacle feet down. So we're just gonna nestle them in here. The happy mix. And there's about an inch of potting soil on the bottom. Okay, this is the Ranunculous mix, and that side is the happy mix. They're settled into about an inch of soil, and now you just want to cover them loosely with moist but not wet potting soil. Just settled in there. So they're settled in. Now we just need to place them in a cool, dark place for about 3 weeks until we're ready to place them out. All right, friends, that's going to do it for today. I want to reiterate though that keeping the ranunculus moist but not wet is super important. People have reported molding and such with their ranunculus corms, so just keep that in mind. Find a place in your house that isn't super humid. So you do want to check on your ranunculus corms to make sure that they are not getting too moldy, too wet, that the potting soil is staying moist. So make sure you're checking on them regularly. And I'll be back in 3 weeks to show you the progress and let you know how my corms have turned out. Let me know in the comments below if you're starting ranunculus this year or if you've started them in the past. What was your success rate? I'd love to hear from you. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.